The Excellency President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, NSA, Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, MNI, FAS, National President, UIAA Worldwide, Professor Sawua Yicho, Chairman of this lecture, Mr. Akefewa, the guest lecturer, members of the Executive Committee of UIAA Worldwide, members of the 2024 Alumni Lecture Planning Committee, members of chapters and branches of UIAA Worldwide, our elders in UIAA, staff and students of the University of Ibadan, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the President, UIAA Worldwide, the Executive Committee, and members of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, I especially welcome you all to the 2024 Alumni Lecture themed Unintended Consequences of the Federal Government Policies of Federal Universities in Nigeria. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we use the platform of the National Alumni Lecture to contribute to the debate on any national discourse of the movement with the aim of providing solutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's lecture will be delivered by an outstanding and productive scholar, dedicated researcher, vibrant and heritage chemist, Emmanuel service country in various capacities, former director of academic planning, former dean faculty of science, former director of examination and assessment, former deputy vice chancellor academic, and now the current vice chancellor, National Open University of Nigeria, a rich champion of open and distance education in Nigeria, a worthy alumnus, and indeed US ambassador to the world, alumnus 1976, very distinguished Professor Olufemi Ayinde Peters. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you that the choice of our distinguished lecturer, very distinguished Professor Olufemi Peters, is a testament to his outstanding achievements and contributions to academia. His nomination is a reflection of his unparalleled dedication, unwavering commitment, and remarkable leadership in advancing education, most especially in the open and distance e-learning mode and knowledge dissemination. Also, give the report you have together for the distinguished guest lecturer. I think we can meet later. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we are happy and blessed with the caliber of distinguished Nigerian at this alumni lecture, the 2024 series. We are led here by the chairman of this event, an outstanding board of executive, and indeed, the CEO and Managing Director, the Power Plant PLC, and also Fort Oil Nigeria PLC, Mr. Akefewa, being represented by another distinguished board of executive, indeed, the business administrator, the Power PLC, Mr. Adebola Adesanya. Can you stand up for recognition, sir? distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that the acting chairman attended one of the colleges of the University of Ibadan. He attended Middlesex University, London, the United Kingdom. The wife of the chairman, she Mr. Addison. Okay, the association is a member of the worldwide. We put our hands together. You are most welcome. I know you may be young, but your pocket is not young. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is also my honor to present to you another distinguished Nigerian who graduated from our Department of Chemistry, former Dean Faculty of Science, former Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration of this university, a professor of chemistry, and fellow Nigerian Academy of Science, who has through his profound scholarship proactively continue to protect the image of this university nationally and internationally. He specializes in industrial, food, analytical, and environmental chemistry. He attended the senior executive course SC39 in 2017 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS through JOS, leading to the award of member of the National Institute, NNI. I present to you the 13th Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Ayode Oyebode Adibawale, NNI FAS. Being ably represented at this event by a distinguished administrator who has done so much and so well for the advancement of administration and academics in our university, and in so right a diligent scholar. I present to you the 13th registrar of your university, my university, their university, our own university, the University of Ibadan, Mr. Ganiu Sani. On the greatest right. We have a long list of those who have come to listen and enjoy this lecture with our distinguished guest lecturer. The delegates from the National Open University of Nigeria, especially at the center of this wonderful assembly, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration of that university, Professor Isaac Samani Bushwatch. We are most welcome, sir. We also have with our guest lecturer, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic, very distinguished Professor Chiegu Mafiana. We also have the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Technology, Innovation and Research, very distinguished Professor Godwin Akpa. I want to take loudly that you are from NEC, sir. You are most welcome, sir. I also recognize the colleague of our registrar in that university, the registrar, National Open University of Nigeria, Mr. Akibo Ajayi. Oh, you are receiving here too. But the greatest right. You are most welcome, sir. It is also my honor to recognize and present to you especially the boxer of that university, Malam Joseph Marafa. Okay, I understand you stepped out. Especially I present to you the University Librarian, Dr. Angela Opala. You are most welcome, ma'am. The Dean of the Postgraduate School of that university, very distinguished Professor Sonny Oneye. The Dean Faculty of Education, Professor Bamiwale Oguleye. You are most welcome, sir. You are one of the early gods here. I met you here, sir. You are most welcome, sir. Also recommend specially, I present to you the Directorate of Examination and Assessment, Professor Alumni Ojo. Chairman Prof. Torí orúkọ ìgbà tó tó tí ò tó kò rí ìlú o ìyàwó sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sá. The chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also present to you especially the Director, Regional Training and Research, Institute for Distance and Open Learning, Professor Christine Ofugwe. Ìyàwó sẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Especially I present to you also the Director of the Ibadan Study Center, very distinguished Professor Dr. Shokefo. It is also my honor to present to you the Director, Abuja Modern Study Center, Professor Sami Ayode. You are welcome, sir. From the Department of Business Administration and Coordinator, Commonwealth Executive Masters in Business Administration of the National Open University of Nigeria, I present to you Dr. Ada Mas Ozibo. From the same regional training and research Institute for Distance and Open Learning, Retidor, I present to you a research fellow in that directorate, Mr. Kayode Olakunleyin. No, I want to see you right now. You are bearing the same name when you look at the destiny. Ọba Olakunleyin. Or that's the Kabiyesi. You are welcome, sir. The chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also present to you the Deputy Registrar in the office of the Vice Chancellor, National Open University of Nigeria, Mr. Adefemi Oyedipe. You are welcome, sir. Especially, I present to you the Principal Assistant Registrar, Advancement and Linkages, Mr. Oladimeji Tiani. You are welcome, sir. Another Principal Assistant Registrar from the Office of the Registrar, Mr. Opeyemi Ajala. You are welcome, sir. And the Personal Assistant to the Vice Chancellor, I present to you especially Mr. Yusuf Alhaji. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also present to you the Protocol Officer, National Open University of Nigeria, Mr. Joshua Ansaka. You are welcome, sir. The Special Advisor to the Vice Chancellor, especially I present to you to this wonderful assembly, Mr. Adeboye Adewoni. You are welcome, sir. And the Dean Faculty of Science, Professor Kolawole Lawal. You are welcome, sir. And finally, for the National Open University of Nigeria, the Secretary of the Programming School, Ms. Folashade Oritogu. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you our chief host, a distinguished professor of history who studied, a distinguished professor of history and international relations who studied history and archaeology in this university, a distinguished alumnus of 1983. I present to you the President, UIAA Worldwide, Mr. Samuel Gabriel Iyichio. You don't know you, sir. That's our president. President, UIA Worldwide. This is the man who leads over 300,000 alumni of this university worldwide. We will put our hands together for the President, UIA Worldwide. That is the man who is collaborating with our Vice Chancellor to achieve a chief goal, to have a relationship with over 300,000 alumni that we have all over the world, so that they be fully involved in the reinvention of UI. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while I will take other recognitions later, let me invite to the microphone the President, UIA Worldwide, Professor who has given it to you, to please step forward and present the welcome address. Mr. President, sir.
Greatest UIs. Greatest or the greatest UIs. The chairman of this occasion, the CEO and MD of Geregupa Plant, Mr. Akifemiwa.
Ably represented here by Mr. Adebola Adeson, Business Director. Our special guest lecturer, the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University, Professor Alumni and all the delegates coming and who came along with him from the National Open University of that university. I greet especially the National Executive Officer of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association and the Planning Committee of UIAA and other distinguished persons here present. Since the protocol has been so well established, let me stand on existing protocols. And we are really gathered here to listen to one of our very able Vice Chancellors, a great personality, and of course, an alumnus of our university, the University of Ibadan, Professor Olufemi Ayeda-Peters, who is a revered name, not only in the committee of Vice Chancellors, but also in the committee of both public and private universities which have been licensed to provide open and distance learning in Africa. The National Open University of Nigeria now is reputed for its capability in deploying technology to bridge geographical, political, and socio-economic barriers in order to improve access to quality education in the country. That very tall mandate rests squarely on the shoulders of our guest lecturer of today. Apart from cultivating a culture of excellence at now, Professor Olufemi Ayeda-Peters is making us proud by entrenching a culture of accountability and sustainability, which are indeed the hallmark of our education in our alma mater, the University of Ibadan. He is the 5th Vice Chancellor of National Open University, Abuja. The university has study centers spread across the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja. Permit me to briefly refresh our minds on some basic roles of the Vice Chancellor of now, and of course, any other Vice Chancellor for that matter. This rehearsal is necessary for us to appreciate the fact that the choice of our guest lecturer is to further affirm our determination to put a square peg in a square hole. He is indeed at home with the topic of discourse today, especially as it relates to the performance of his day-to-day functions as follows. First and foremost, the Vice Chancellor is the Chief Academic Officer and Chairman of Senate of Faculty Boards. Second, he is the Chief Research Officer. Third, the Chief Security Officer. Fourth, the Chief Accounting Officer. Fifth, the Chief Data Protection Officer. This particular role is courtesy of the Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023. The job description above is as inspiring as it is challenging. In performing his role as Chief Executive Officer, the Vice Chancellor manages an institution that comprises of both staff and students. He is concerned with the governance structures, parliaments, unions, various service providers, especially municipal services, power, water, internet, radio, television, and transmission, security, health services, sports, entertainment, local and international relations. The basic instrument for carrying out such an enormous, a onerous task is by tact and persuasion, while remaining firm and steadfast at the same time. The bottom line is whether we are talking about internationalization of our universities as centers of excellence in a globally competitive world, or about the creation of an African university that meets the yearnings of Africans in a globalized world. There are some challenges to contend. Thus warranting the intervention, especially through policy guidelines, intervention of government, especially through policy guidelines. But attempts to solve one problem tends to throw up new ones from time to time. It's on account of the above that the Executive Committee of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, UIA, deemed it fit to invite one of our own who is an expert on these matters to come and bear his mind. There is every need to explore the matrix of unintended consequences of the federal government on federal universities. In the realm of history, we refer to unintended outcomes as an accident of history. Being as he is an expert in polymer science and technology, as well as a member of the Institute of Public Analysts of Nigeria, IPAN, our guest lecturer, Professor Olufemi Ayinde Peters, is eminently qualified to do justice to the topic by providing a polymeric dissection of this subject matter. I sincerely welcome you to the 2024 Alumni Lecture and wishing you happy listening. But on a very short note, I want to also, before a full thanksgiving acknowledgement is done, I want to appreciate our guest lecturer. He has been very supportive of our efforts, and we look forward to further partnership with him in trying to support our alma mater and to continue to support even our members of our alumni community. Thank you very much.
the chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Aside Victoria, we recognize that Israel is the interconnectivity of related events, and that our president, UIA worldwide, is an historian. He tries as much as possible to connect what has happened in the past with the present. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we put ours together. For the UIA president worldwide, very distinguished Professor Saru Agege Lithium, alumnus 83. He teaches Israel and International Relations at the Delhi State University, Makurdi. Thank you, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, because our guest lecturer decided to come here to use his erudition to share knowledge in the academia with us for national growth. Permit me to remain temporarily for this lecture. Other documents will remain valid. Our guest lecturer is very distinguished Professor Olufemi Ayinde Omowani Peters. The naming ceremony will be announced later. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to take a short time out to make the following recognitions. I present to you another distinguished Nigerian, an administrator of administrators, wonderful university administrator, a business family man, the first registrar, University of Ibadan, Mr. Oluji Olukoya. The chairman directed me that he cannot see, he didn't see you, sir. I have the microphone. Can I just stand up for a conversation? You are most welcome, sir. I also recognize and present to this wonderful assembly the then Faculty of Education, Professor Olufemi Ayinde. You are welcome, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir, with our 2024 alumni guest lecturer and members of his Old Boys Association, specifically members of Abeokuta Grammar School Old Boys Association, Axoba. Are we together? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a member of that association, a visiting professor of clinical microbiology and consultant clinical microbiology, retired but not tired from the University of Ibadan, Professor Rashidi Bakari. Another classmate of our distinguished lecturer is Engineer Samuel Akiode. Still on that team, I present to you Baba Olatunji Sodeke. Alàgbà Beckley, Alàgbà Dileji Beckley. Chifemi Akinfolare. Dr. Ibukun Oluderu. And Alàgbà Wasiu Gafara. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you that we are streaming this program live on Zoom with the meeting ID 827-74-96-3626. Once again, the meeting ID 82774-96-3626. And the passcode 465101. The passcode, once again, 465101. The acting chairman, sir, let me specially present to you our elders in this wonderful assembly, a distinguished professor of physiology from a faculty of basic medical sciences, a woman who had done so much and so well for our university and the UIA worldwide. Many students and graduates are partnered with benefactors to this university and to those she has mentored. I present to you especially the immediate past president, UIA worldwide, very distinguished professor, S.C. Olufunke.
Greatest white! Greatest white!
Àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ̀rọ̀ ìlú àyè tó ṣòro ìgbòho. Àyẹ̀dẹ̀ àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ̀rọ̀ ìlú àyè tó ṣòro ìgbòho. On the greatest word, on the greatest word, on the articulate word, greatest of the 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 greatest. Adefewa being represented by the business administrator of Erego Power Plant PLC, Mr. Ade Sami. To please step up to present the welcome address.
Of higher education landscape in Nigeria. As we embark on this journey of critical inquiry, we scrutinize the impact of specific initiatives such as the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System and the Treasury Single Account TSA and the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System on our tertiary institution. In recent years, the Nigerian University has undergone significant transformation due to federal government policies. Unfortunately, many of these changes has affected our institutions. A severe lack of funding has crippled the government tertiary education sector, compromising its ability to deliver world-class education to the large population of Nigerians. Additionally, the morale among lecturers and staff in government institutions has plummeted and affected tertiary institution ability as research and development incubators, a factor that must be considered when drafting policies. Addressing these unintended consequences require collaborative effort from governments, university administrators, faculty, and students. This collaboration should aim to revisit policies framework to better accommodate unique and dynamic tertiary education and foster dialogue between stakeholders to address concern. As we tackle this unintended effect of federal government policy, it is critical to foster a climate of dialogue, innovation, collaboration, adaptability by acknowledging the challenges, identifying solutions, and embracing collective actions. We can navigate this complexity and pave the way for vibrant and inclusive, sustainable higher education sector that meets the need of students, faculty, and our society at large. Despite being conceived with the noble intention of enhancing transparency, accountability, efficiency in public finance management, these policies have have introduced myriad of complexity and challenge within higher institutions. From bureaucratic hurdles to disruption of academic operations, from financial constraints to concern about institution autonomies, the critical effect of these policies have reverberated throughout the university system, shaping the experience of students, faculty, administrator, and alumni alike. As we gather here today, it is imperative that we encourage ourselves in rigorous examination of these unintended consequences, shedding more light on both the successes and shortcomings of these policies and its implementations. Through robust discourse and informed dialogue, we aim to uncover the insight that can inform our policy, institutional decision-making, advocate effort aimed at safeguarding the integrity of our higher institutions. A distinguished panel of speakers comprises of academia, government, and civil society will offer a diverse perspective and empirical analysis to enrich our understandings of these complex issues. From examining the impact on academic research and innovation to address the issues of financial sustainability and institutional governance, we are poised to exploit the most versatile dimension of these pressing concerns. As alumni deeply invested in the future of our alma mater and the broader landscape of the higher education sector in Nigeria, let us approach today's discussion with intellectual curiosity, empathy, and commitment to constructive engagement. Together, let us harness the power of collective wisdom and share experience to chart a path forward that upholds the principle of equity, excellent, inclusive development in our federal universities. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers, participants, students, organizers, and their invaluable contribution to this important conversation. May today's deliberation serve as a catalyst for meaningful change and progress in our pursuit for vibrant and resilient higher education sector. Thank you, and let's dialogue begins. This is a statement of Mr. Akefelewa, in whom I represent. Thank you very much.
Vice Chancellor, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Akefelewa, the chairman of this wonderful event, and the voice is that of Mr. Adebola Adesami, representing Mr. Akefelewa, and Mr. Adebola Adesami has been a good actor as the acting chairman. We will put our hands together for the acting chairman. You acted well. At the appropriate time, we also act very well when they want to take some money from the pocket. You are most welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also inform you that Mr. Akefelewa, our chairman of today's event, is a member of the Board of Trustees of UIAA Development Trust. May we put our hands together for Mr. Akefelewa. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also specially recognize the distinguished presence of our emeritus president, UIAA Worldwide, and the current Chairman, Board of Directors of UI Ventures. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you especially Dr. Anthony Amadi Emina. Anthony Amadi Emina. Because of what he did indelibly for the UIAA. If you move around this complex, There's a particular block that is named after him. Here at UIA, we recognize contributions of our members while alive, not when they are dead. They will put us together. Also, for very distinguished Dr. Anthony Amadi Kemi Eluna. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me recognize in block, all the members of the Executive Council of UIAE Worldwide, wherever you are kindly stand up for recognition, as we put us together for all of them, greatly. On the greatest night. Please take your seat. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in this wonderful assembly, we have 3 Francis. I don't know whether we have the plural of Francis. If they are sending grammar like that, no problem. But permit me to go ahead with the presentation of these 3 Francis. First is a distinguished professor of linguistics, Faculty of Arts at Alumni University, former director, Bismarck Learning Center of Alumni University, very distinguished Professor Francis Ebohari. You are most welcome, sir. I also recognize and present to you, especially the awarding of where our distinguished guest lecturer was a resident between 1976 and 1979. Am I right, sir? The awarding may not be all. An outstanding veterinary scientist, Dr. Abiola. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 3 events are competing with this program at the same time. This is expected that this is whenever we have an occasion like this, usually a full house. The first event is the celebration of the 90th birthday of our very distinguished Professor of English, a living legend, very distinguished Professor Ayobado, LLOL, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, at the same time in the Pentagon. Another one is the directing night being organized by students in their various halls of residence. And finally, is that most of our students are not on campus because of examinations. So please understand us. You are most welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to know so much and so well about the life advice of our distinguished guest lecturer, Professor Ufemi Ayinde, Vice Chancellor of National Open University of Nigeria, as I invite a Professor of Law and Director, Ibadan Study Center, National Open University of Nigeria, very busy Professor Dr. Chukemo, to please step forward and present the citation on the guest lecturer. Professor Chukemo, sir.
Already have a fiat to spend 20 minutes. I'm putting you 10 minutes.
Yes, 10 minutes.
That's a fiat, right?
Yes, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes.
All right. I'll give you just exactly 10 minutes.
Yes. Time starts now.
Mr. Chairman, erudite professors here present, members of the Alumni Association Executive and the membership gathering, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues from the National Open University of Nigeria, please permit me to present to you the lecturer for today. Olufemi Ayinde Peters was born on the 11th of May 1956 at Ebutemeta, Lagos, to Egba parents who came from Alabado village in Ifo local government, Ogun State. He attended the University of Ibadan from 1976 to 1979. In 1979, he obtained the Bachelor of Science degree, the second class upper in chemistry. And indeed, he was one of the 12 candidates that made the second class upper that year, that being the highest grade at the Department of Chemistry. Since leaving the University of Ibadan, he has made his mark in academics, recording landmarks in research and leadership. After his national youth service in Kano, I should have said that before, but I was scared of telling the man to stand. He still signed my salary check. After his national youth service in Kano, he went further to study for a Master of Science degree in chemistry, a specialization in polymer chemistry, technology from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He graduated in 1982. He obtained a PhD in science chemistry, a specialization in degradation and stabilization of polymers from the Victoria University of Manchester, England in 1988. Peter started his teaching career at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria as an assistant lecturer in 1982. He joined the services of the National University of Nigeria in 2003 as an associate professor and was later elevated to the rank of a professor in the year 2006. He was the first academic to be elevated to the chair in that university. At the Ahmadu Bello University, Peters taught in the following areas of chemistry: the chemistry of industrial raw materials, polymer chemistry, chemical thermodynamics, protein and carbohydrate chemistry, quantum chemistry, petroleum refining processes, rubber technology, and petrochemical processes. At the postgraduate level, his major contribution was in the specific area of polymer chemistry, polymer degradation, and stabilization. Our distinguished lecturer served as an external examiner for a number of doctoral candidates and was at various times a panel member for accreditation exercises for many educational regulatory bodies. From 2014 to 2018, Professor Peters served as the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Stored Products Research Institute, Ilorin, an agency of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. That institute shall later be referred to as NSPRI. In addition to numerous journal articles and published proceedings in the fields of chemistry, polymer science and technology, agriculture, as well as in open and distance learning, in peer-reviewed international and local journals, his personal contributions to scientific innovation was in co-designing and constructing a locally made 60-degree gloss meter for determining gloss levels of surfaces of coatings, including the human skin. At NSPRI, Peters led a group of researchers to patent 2 of the institute's research findings, one of which is diatomaceous earth, which is effectively useful as a grain protectant without side effect to human beings. Also during his tenure as the Chief Executive Officer of NSPRI, the institution designed and constructed a 5-ton parabolic solar dryer for grains, fruits, and vegetables. At the expiration of his tenure at NSPRI, Peters returned to the National University of Nigeria in January 2019. And in February 2021, Professor Peters became the Vice Chancellor of that university, where he has served respectively as a Dean, Faculty of Science, Director of Academic Planning, Director of Exams and Assessment, and Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics. Professor Olufemi Peters has served as the lead consultant to the Commonwealth of Learning, Vancouver, Canada, many African universities, as well as many Nigerian universities. Indeed, he led several study teams from the NOUN to ODL institutions like UNISA, University of South Africa, Indira Gandhi Open University, and a couple of other open universities. Professor Peters is a fellow of the Chemical Society of Nigeria and first president of the African Council for Distance Education. His membership of professional associations includes the membership of the Polymer Institute of Nigeria, Material Science and Technology Society of Nigeria, and the Institute of Public Analysts of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, erudite professors, I present to you a consummate academic, a leader by excellence, a gentleman to the core. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Olufemi Peters, the Vice Chancellor of the most populous university in Nigeria and West Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Olufemi Peters.
What's this? Wait.
The immediate past president of the Alumni wants to join the thank you very much, Professor Sokefun, for the chair of the occasion, Mr. Akinfenwa, the CEO/MD of the Power Plant PLC, they represented Mr. Ibadan at this the chief host and vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor the president of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association Worldwide, Professor Saoba Vito, distinguished alumni of the University of Ibadan present, including myself, principal officers of the National Open University of Nigeria are present, directors of various units and National Open University of Nigeria. My classmates at Jarota Grammar School, they are present and are quite enough of them. Thank you very much for coming. Off school. My friends who have come here, and I thought I would sing one of my very admirable member, a worthy Nigerian, is distinguished barrister at law, one who came as a friend when I met him, but now a brother, and who flew all the way from Abuja here. I called him by his first name, and he said, I hope he's not too flustered with embarrassment. He's A.U. Mustafa, S.A.N. Please. A.U. Mustafa is a friend and somebody who maybe you don't know him. And I hope you permit me this to make that statement. When you are at the heat of Naira exchange in Nigeria under Emefiele, there was one Nigerian who went to court and who won for the Nigerian masses, including myself. The judgment that our Naira, the old Naira, should be in circulation ad infinitum. I present to you A.U. Thank you, sir, for coming. Friends of the alumni guest speaker, that's that's me. Invited guests that are here. My great Hall, Melanie Hall students who are here. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am deeply grateful to the Almighty God for this privilege of my presence and our presence here tonight. I am also quite grateful to the global alumni of the University of Ibadan for organizing this event and for inviting me as a guest speaker for the 2024 alumni lecture of my esteemed alma mater, the great University of Ibadan. I feel greatly honored to stand before this distinguished audience, being fully aware of the huge number of illustrious alumni the university has produced since its establishment as a college of the University of London in 1948. Indeed, when I went through the program, at the back of the program, I saw lists of past alumni lecturers. I was a little bit, I was awed when I saw the list. And now to the added is my humble name, I want to thank you greatly for this honor that you have done me, my university, and my friends and family who are here. My presence here this evening is motivated by two compelling reasons. First, I had the privilege of pursuing my undergraduate studies in Ibadan from 1976 to 1979. I studied chemistry, of course, under the guidance of the late Professor Domingo Okore, FAS, who was my project supervisor. And I recall with fond memories great names such as Father Foley, Professor Bituso, Professor Hurst, Professor Ajayi, Professor Pankode, Professor Okogun, Professor Gumola, Professor Okonjo, Professor Adeshonon, Professor Adeshomoju, otherwise called Bobo, he's still a friend now. Professor Adeleke, Professor Shibanjo, and at that time, my former lecturer, a young model academic that I looked up to, Dr. Oido, of course now a professor. The diverse character traits and academic prowess of this great academic of repute left an indelible mark on my educational journey in UI. My learning experience, perhaps, basically same as for others, was enriched by the vibrant academic atmosphere and social interactions that defined our life in UI at that time. And I resided in the prestigious Kenneth Melanie Hall, which in my view was, and it still is, the best of the undergraduate male hostel at UI. I know some of our rivals will contest that. When we were in Ibadan, Melanie it was. Well, today's lecture is not about appetite for quantity. Today's lecture is about Melanie and Melanie. Indeed, my UI degree fills me with great pride and is a testament to the transformative power of this great institution. Secondly, I am here to provide a context for this evening's discourse. From 2014 to 2018, I had the privilege to serve as the head of the Nigerian Stockholders Research Institute in London. NISP had the mandate to optimize all types of processes and technologies capable of enhancing the shelf life and health status of all agricultural produce in Nigeria, as well as improving the socio-economic status of the producers, that is the farmers. Presently, I serve as the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, which until the disruptive influence of COVID-19 and emergence of new technologies was alone in operating a distinctly different model of educational delivery. With over 150,000 students spread across the length and breadth of this country and beyond, NUN, with its innovative approach to education and expansive student body, stands as a beacon of educational excellence, challenging conventional paradigms and paving the way for inclusive learning opportunities across Nigeria and beyond. These three experiences, that of UI, that was heading the ministry, and now Vice Chancellor of Open University, have endowed me with valuable insights into the intricate interplay of government policies and their impact on academic institutions, particularly federal universities. These experiences have also equipped me with the depth of understanding needed to contribute to public discourse on the critical issues at hand with a nuanced perspective. There is, however, I wish to underscore, ladies and gentlemen, as a sitting Vice Chancellor, there exists a natural reluctance to engage in certain discussions that may blur the lines between personal views and institutional positions. However, in the spirit of intellectual courage that defines the ethos of the University of Ibadan, where the pursuit of knowledge reigns supreme, I am compelled to delve into the intricacies of government policies affecting our university system. The UI motto, recte sapere reforms, meaning to think straight, is the fount of knowledge, serves as a guiding principle, urging us to navigate complex issues with clarity and integrity. Despite these inherent risks, it is incumbent upon us as custodians of academia to engage in constructive dialogue that fosters positive change and advances the collective welfare of our universities and societies at large. It's for that reason I stand before you this evening, not only as a representative of academia, but also as a champion of intellectual discourse and progressive change. It is my hope that as we delve into this discourse, armed with the tools of critical inquiry and unwavering commitment to excellence, we will be able to navigate the challenges and opportunities that this discussion entails. One thing that we can agree on, all of us seated there, is that Nigeria's problem is not the absence of beautifully crafted policies. However, the perennial challenge of public policy development and enactment in Nigeria has been the absence of full commitment to follow through with implementation. Indeed, several developmental plans and policies will have pivoted Nigeria through had been there, but the failure of implementation to follow through has been our accurate skills. But in this particular discourse, the reverse is the case, because government demonstrated the determination to follow through the implementation of the policies that I'm here to discuss with you today. The focus of my address is to consider some unintended consequences of certain policies that have been implemented in Nigeria. My intention is to consider the different policy options that have been advanced in addressing these various social issues, with particular reference to federal universities. However, as Esmogol and Robinson, authors of Why Nations Fail,
observed in their seminal and influential texts. Government policies play crucial roles in shaping the socio-economic landscape of nations, and Nigeria is an example of a country that attempts to use policies for social engineering in the manner expressed by these writers. These writers further argue that implementing social policies often yield unintended consequences, which may undermine their intended objectives and have significant ramifications for the people. Consequently, it is worthy to examine various instances of unintended consequences resulting from government policies different across different sectors. My approach is also to serve two other ancillary purposes. One, an attempt at a rigorous scholarly analysis of the issues that were not presented. And secondly, to highlight the complexity and challenges inherent in policy formulation and implementation in Nigeria. So the first question is, who owns the university? University has its original nomenclative word in the Latin phrase universitas, and refers in general to a number of persons associated into one body, a society, a company, community, a guild, a corporation, etc., etc., that have collective legal rights that is guaranteed by a conferring authority of the society of which it is founded. Their major attribute as given by that same authority is their legal instrument, which makes them self-regulating and independent with the capacity to award qualifications. In modern usage, the word university has come to mean an institution of higher learning, offering tuition in mainly non-vocational subjects, and typically having the power to confer degrees. So what I've done is to lay for us what a university really is. And I want you to note that the university could have been, it becomes a university because there is a conferring authority. The conferring authority is the legal status, and our lawyers are here to, so if there is no act, if there is no enabling act setting up a university, you really can't award a degree. Without doubt, the university system in Nigeria continues to evolve as an essential component and indeed one of the key drivers and enablers of the country's growth and development. Beginning with the establishment of the University College Ibadan in 1948, it has grown to comprise today 61 federal universities, including 9 universities, 63 state universities, and 148 private universities. Beyond those ownership I've just said, let's ask the question, who does the university belong to? So on this basis of the question, I can say that universities belong to a diverse range of stakeholders, such as society. Universities are established to serve the needs of society by providing education, conducting research, and doing community service. Students. The university belongs to the students, without which there is no university. Faculty and staff. The universities also belong to the academic and non-teaching staff who work in that institution. The community, also part of the stakeholders of the university. Universities are part of the broader community in which they are located. And for many of us who are a little bit older, we realize that there would not have been Abadina or Ado if not for the University of Ibadan. It's all over. The same thing where I schooled in Zaria, where I lectured in Zaria. If there was no Samaru Zaria, there would not be Samaru village. There will not be forgotten villages there. So the community also has a stake in a university. Government. In many countries like Nigeria, universities receive funding and oversight from government agencies. So government is also a stakeholder. Donors and parents. The university is also owned by donors and partners. Universities receive support from donors, and the university like the University of Ibadan knows the importance of having donors as part of a stakeholding community. And finally, alumni. Universities also belong to the alumni who are graduates of the institution. By serving the interests of these stakeholders and upholding their mission of education, research, and community development, universities contribute to the advancement of knowledge, skills, and societal well-being. But the reason why we are here is because the alumni has called us. And so let's look at what the alumni is. It seems to me at this junction to consider some of the roles of the Alumni Association in the growth and development of universities. After all, this is an alumni lecture, and we have to remind ourselves of some of our roles and responsibilities to our alma mater. They play a number of crucial roles, and these include: 1, networking and collaboration. Alumni provide help to create valuable connections and partnerships with industry, potential employers, and other institutions. Financial support. Alumni often contribute to the university through donations, grants, and fundraising efforts. Mentorship and guidance. Alumni also provides mentorship and guidance to students by sharing their experiences, insights, and knowledge. Recruitment and advocacy. Alumni serve as ambassadors for the university, promoting its reputation and attracting potential students, faculty, and staff. Alumni engagement and relations. Alumni involvement in governance can strengthen the relationship between the university and its graduates. And by actively engaging alumni in governance processes, and I hope the registrar is listening to this, the university can foster a sense of community, loyalty, and pride amongst its graduates. Alumni representation. Alumni can also serve on the university's governing council and advisory boards, providing valuable input and perspectives on important decisions related to the institution's governance, policies, and strategy. My first thought, therefore, as I prepared this lecture, was to wonder how, till date, the enabling act of federal universities have not found it helpful to permit the specific inclusion of alumni into the Senate composition, or indeed the governing council of their universities. Maybe the registrar, my registrar, can answer this question. Why? With all this support they give to their university, how the enabling act of federal universities and the SAN have not found it helpful to permit the specific inclusion. I don't mean as congregation, I don't mean as convocation, I mean specific inclusion in the act of alumni into the Senate composition, or indeed the governing councils of their universities. I had attempted it in my university, and the registrar is aware that my efforts did not use any trying to bring an alumni to the Senate. Revisiting the essence of universities in our society. In recent decades, there has been an unprecedented surge in student enrollment and the number of universities in Nigeria. Indeed, this growth was particularly noticeable during the administrations of President Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari. These changes have not only nearly increased in numbers, the whole ecology of university education in Nigeria has also been transformed within the last 20 years. Just as the ownership structure has greatly diversified to state, government, and private ownership, So also is the mode of instruction with my university, National Open University of Nigeria, training the brave. But whatever the expansionist expressions in numbers, Nigerian universities, like the University of old, have always been shaped by the Humboldtian ideal. This emphasizes the pursuit and transmission of knowledge and its elaboration into Wissenschaft. That is, the professional autonomy. Please listen carefully. The professional autonomy of the scholar was essential to this model without any form of influence by the authority that established the university. Put it another way, there has always been an implicit contract or understanding between the university and society, such that the distinctive value of higher learning that lay in the cultivation of scholarship, science, and culture does not, might not have direct bearing on its dialectic relationship with the society. The implication of this is that those who pursue such inquiries, that is the university, the professors, enjoy a high degree of professional autonomy, a convention made to seem natural by the elite character of the original intent of university education. Given this notion, therefore, universities assume self-governance and deploy different operational tools which in some cases can be contradictory to the prevailing requirement or needs of society. This expression is the highest expression of the GAM having nothing to do with the town. The autonomy that the university is so sharp about is based upon this Humboldtian ideal, and it's not what we in Nigeria develop. Is to all intents and purposes what the university has been all over the world from time immemorial. Again, I said it was the highest expression of the GAM having nothing to do with the town. But as complexities of society grew, the conferring authority, the founder of the universities, now termed government, attempted to become more involved in the involvement of these universities, because they have realized the intellectual disposition of the products of the universities and their contributions to making societies more civilized and cultured. So it's not unusual, therefore, to hear every day that the government or societies is creeping into the autonomy that the university is supposed to enjoy. Then whose autonomy? As in other parts of the world, and in a matter of time, the conferring authorities started asking questions from these universities. This includes questions of relevance, questions of applicability, questions of sustainability, question of democratization. In essence, the question of is society benefiting from the funding that we are giving the university became a thing of essence to the founders of the university. It became inevitable for universities to be subjected to government policies and public attention and scrutiny. The conferring authorities began to demand accountability. What, however, was most profound of these changes was that while these questions were being asked, while the conferring authorities were asking questions, the fundamental character of the constituent components of the university changed very little. The academic faculty still, by and large, set the tone of their institutions. demanding unobtrusive tips into their operations and maintaining the so-called island it wishes to set for itself. Government, on the other hand, have now seen that universities can be engines of economic growth and cultural evolutions, opine that their activities, the activities of the university may need to be more forcefully aligned with the needs of industry, finance, commerce, and society. You can see where the clash is coming from. All right. In Nigeria, such like in Europe, where we copied our model, they soon realized that universities are veritable tools for the realization of the goals of national development, the formation of critical mass of cultured citizens, and the promotion of sustainable solutions to societal challenges. University education was seen as the most powerful and critical success factor for not just the individuals, but the society. So therefore, the issue of peeping into what happens in the ivory tower became imperative for the government. Now, since the major force behind its existence, the existence of a university and sustenance of a university is funding, which comes from the conferring authority, it means that the university, if it cannot fund itself, they have to lose some of its freedom, or in quotes, its autonomy, to who? To the resource providers. So, what are the challenges that we as society see facing our universities? Devoid of all what I've said, what are the challenges we see facing the university? And I've admitted there, so I will just go through them so I don't waste more. The first is funding challenges. We know the university is poorly funded. We know the reason. Large expansion, limited funds coming into the pocket. And I'm referring to federal universities, not state, not private. Infrastructural deficiencies. Many universities face infrastructural deficiencies. I went to Melanie Hall today, and I went to my room in Melanie Hall, G block. My room, that time, I couldn't compare it with what I was seeing now. Now, and I was in Ibadan University about a week ago, and I went to my department where I had my master's, where I also taught for 20 years. I couldn't believe that was a university again. So there are infrastructural deficiencies. That's what we see. Industrial actions. That's what we see. Academic quality. There are concerns about the quality of education and academic standards in our universities. Corruption and mismanagement. There are perceived critics point to instances of corruption in the management of funds that are given to us by the conferring authority in our universities. Graduate employability. There are perceptions that graduates from the Nigerian universities lack the necessary skills and competencies required by the job market. Finally, examination misconduct. That there are concerns about the prevalence of examination malpractices and academic dishonesty in Nigerian universities. These criticisms in Nigeria reflects the need for reforms, reflects the need for improvement in governance, reflects the need in accountability, and reflect the need in investment in higher education. It is needless saying that addressing these challenges can help enhance the quality of education, research output, and reputation of Nigerian universities. So the question is, what can government do? What can government do? If you are heading the government, what will you do? It is often said that he who pays the piper, he pays the tune. Well, everybody is familiar with that statement. So let me go back to the challenges that we noticed. Funding challenges. What did the government do about funding challenges? It set up through cohesive force the education cost fund, now debt fund. Now, major developmental money that comes to the university for all federal universities is debt fund. The government tells you, I have made that requirement. Infrastructural deficiencies. Debt fund is the one, maybe I didn't see much to do. If you go to some universities in the north, debt fund, you come to my university, debt fund. So the infrastructural deficiencies, the government is also taking care of it, albeit insufficient. Industrial action. Nigerian universities are undergoing reaction from what they perceive is wrong. So there is quite a number of industrial issues drawing attention to the decay that is going on in the university. And some of these interventions, like the million, are some of the profits that the university system are paying, such as the one I just mentioned, debt fund. Academic quality. We expect that the NUC, the federal government set up NUC to prescribe minimal criteria for meeting academic quality. I'm going to skip corruption and management. I will tell you why later. Graduate employability. Graduate employability, there are so many government policies now that try to address graduate employability in terms of policy in almost what we do. Examination misconduct. I'm even told that there is an act that the National Assembly established or enacted in order to fight examination misconduct. So really, the government will ask itself, I've tried to cover all this. So what then can the government do? Again, I go back to that statement. He who pays the piper, it pays the team. Going back to our context, the federal government is the conferring authority. So the government expects to exercise some form of control over what the university does. But first, it has to ensure that of all these representation that we are giving, the institutions, our own institutions, are properly funded. And I have listed here 6 avenues that federal government funds, or rather that universities are funded, that is noticeable by the federal government. Grants from National Assembly, periodic subventions and allocation, intervention funds such as tech fund, needs assessment, service charges, IGR. The federal government has closed its eye and said that university can generate 10% of its money. So we have universities now with water, petrol, bishops, consultancies, etc. And then foreign grants from donor agencies like World Bank, USAID, etc. And then grants and endowments from individuals and local NGOs such as MTN Foundation, Dangote Foundation, and so on. So, from the myriad of sources of funds, it may appear from the perspective of government that the challenge of funding of our universities is being adequately addressed of corruption and mismanagement, which it believes is pervasive with reports of financial impropriety, academic fraud, unethical practices, and the like. And one of the ways I feel that the government sought to address this particular issue is to control the money it provides to the university through its statutory disbursement orders. And so Having provided the enabling context, and I want to go into the policies. And this is purely scholarly, just conjectural, just evidence saying it. It may not be true that this is what government is thinking, but this is what I think government is thinking. So that's why I said, permit me here to think for government. The government has for a long time remained the sole financier of public universities. But due to economic depression and a drop in oil receipts in recent years, the country has continued to experience budget constraints. Therefore, government tries one last control, that of direct control of supply of funding to and revenue receipts of all its agencies, including universities. What I've done here is to surreptitiously put other sectors of the Nigerian state into the equation in how government now says this is what I want to do about control of funds to the university. Within the theme of this discussion, therefore, I want to examine two major policies of the federal government in detail. Luckily, when I paid a course for the Vice Chancellor of Minister of Finance today, she mentioned these policies that I'm going to mention there now. The first is the Treasury Single Account, which we refer to as TSA. This is the first policy that I want to talk about, and which is familiar to us all. The Treasury Single Account. The TSA, as we normally call it, is a public accounting system. I want you to listen carefully. What I'm saying, that uses a single account or a set of linked accounts by the government to ensure that all receipts and payments are done through a consolidated revenue account at the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is, the federal government wants to know any amount of money that is coming to all its agencies, either MDA, either university, either primary school, either anyone. That's what TSA is all about. The pilot scheme commenced in 2012 under the Jonathan administration, using a unified structure of accounting. It involved 217 government ministries, departments and agencies. Universities were not included. But in 2017, when Buhari came, we included universities and other tertiary institutions. That's what happened. What is the principle of TSA? TSA is designed to check the incidence of multiple accounts operated by government MDAs for collection and spending of government revenue. Now, all money that comes to a university is termed government money. I hope you know that. That's what it is. So what government wants to do is they want to have a bird's eye view of all monies that is coming into the University of Ibadan. They want to see it. That is coming to Open University. They want to see it. So if I want to go off the text that I prepared, what it is that previously we are not used to that. The Department of Chemistry at the University of Ibadan will have an account with First Bank, isn't it? Signed by the head of the department and the secretary or the faculty staff. That's what I was used to. Government said no. All of you have accounts in all these private banks. Move them to CBN so that I want to see how the money is coming in. That's what the government is trying to do by TSA. Alright? Now, that principle has many advantages. It is to enhance one, transparency and accountability. Two, is to improve financial management. Three, is to reduce financial leakages and instances of fraud because it is now centrally controlled and monitored. 5 is to facilitate strategic planning and budgeting. If the government knows all the money that it has, that is coming across the CBN, they can plan. They can say, this is what I want to do tomorrow. This is what I want to do. I hope you are not being disappointed with what I'm saying. But this is the truth. Don't forget, what we are looking for is unintended consequences. We are not there yet. But this is the ground upon which TSA was formed. The government wanted to provide consistency and coherence in financial practices. The government wants to curtail unnecessary borrowing and profiteering at government's expense. So if you build this within the well-intentioned desire of the federal government to have all its resources and financial exploitation items within its board's library, this should be a laudable project, isn't it? So what are the issues? Why then do we have issues? Maybe we can get through these challenges encountered. Maybe the challenges will be noticeable when we look at the implementation of these policies. So what are the challenges? And I told you, I come with 2 good experiences. I was chief executive of a research agency receiving funds basically from government. I'm also currently serving and I'm still receiving the same funds. So I have, let's say, 9 years of experience now managing government funds. All right? So what are the challenges associated with PSA, in particular at universities? The first one is perceived loss of autonomy and control. We are used to managing our finances independently, and the transition to a centralized TSA system has been set to limit our financial autonomy. That's the consequence of it. But this is not an unintended consequence. This is what the government wanted. 2, problems of compliance and accountability. My boss is here. The challenge encountered is that it ensures compliance with the TSA guidelines and maintaining accountability in financial transactions can be very challenging for universities. This is a system that is not used to being told how to spend its money once it has been budgeted for. But now it's being told that once money comes in, if you want to get it, you have to go to CBN. And believe me, nobody says along or Bossa lies going to CBN because of the bureaucracy. But we're not there yet. But just talking about consequences of implementation. Administrative burden. The implementation of TSA increases administrative burden on Nigerian universities. 4, problems of cash flow management. This is the most important. We face challenges in managing cash flow under the TSA system because of the consolidation of funds in a single account. 5, old habits die hard. This was intense resistance from the university staff and stakeholders who are accustomed to their days. 6, TSA brought different mechanisms from accounting from what we are used. Now they call it IFSAS. Because I hope we are right. IFSAS is what they use now to do under TSA. We are not used to do that. Now, if these were the consequences that is expected, I presume, what then are the unintended consequences of TSA? Isn't it? All right. It is inevitable that government policies such as TSA will have unintended consequences on federal universities. From my vantage position and implementer, some unintended consequences of the TSA were noticed. One, delay in access to funds. When the chemistry department had an account in Corporate, I needed to buy stationaries. The HOD just request, prepare an invoice, get to the faculty office to residence, collect cash at hand, give it to the messenger, go to the street, go and buy links of paper, and then bring it, and then they use it. It's not like that now. It's not like that now. So there is a delay in access to funds. The federal government could not have intended that this is what it will cost. But this is what we have seen. Delay in access to funds. When I was the Vice Chancellor this afternoon, she pointed out about grants. Grants. This is an unintended consequence. The federal government will not have, because the federal government knows that part of the funding of the university outside its own structure is World Bank. Because any money through World Bank is guaranteed by the federal government itself. So it's not its intention to steal from the university in not accessing World Bank for all the donor agencies. But that's not found. That's what has happened. Are you getting it? So these are unintended consequences. Now, if you manage a department, you manage a research grant, you manage a university, these unintended consequences will frustrate you. But this is not the intention of government. But don't forget, government wants to ensure transparency, which everybody here in your house, you want to ensure transparency. You want to know how much you have. You know how much you have in this savings account. You know how much you have in that savings account. You know how much you have in the current account. So you can move funds doing this thing. That's what the government wants. The government didn't want to stifle you, but this is after implementing. This is what we found. That we have delay, basically, in access to our funds. There are other reasons that I've given here. Erosion of autonomy and academic freedom, which is also seen within seeking for grants from abroad, for instance. Central data source, compatibility of and uniformity in management systems, and capacity building and infrastructure. So, I'm ending my story on TSA, on that line, that in an attempt for government to improve transparency and accountability demanded of universities, there are certain things that we, during the implementation, found to be unintended. So what we should do is to now tell the government that, fine, this is what you want to do, but this is what we have found. What can you do about it? That is how a civilized country will move. I move to the next one, IPPIS. The second major policy enactment that has impacted university operations is the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS. The IPPIS was introduced by the federal government in April 2007, and by 2008, the Office of the Academic General Observation took control. Again, like TSA, at the initial, the universities were not included in IPPIS. But in 2019, under Buhari, the universities were brought into. Now, my experience, when I was head of a federal institution in 2018, I had operated IPPIS. And I found IPPIS to be fantastic. Are you listening to me? Yes. When I was head of a federal establishment, I had operated IPPIS because it was a research institution, not a university. By the time I finished my tenure at NISPRI, and now became Vice Chancellor of National Open University of Nigeria. RTPIS was introduced. So, what a challenge. Alright? So, the federal government directed that all federal universities be enrolled in RTPIS. The objectives of government in doing this is also this: to provide a centralized database for manpower, planning, and decision-making. Is there anything wrong with that? To facilitate automation and storage of personal records. Is there anything wrong with that? To support the monitoring of staff emoluments, payments against budget. Is there anything wrong there? To prevent wastage and leakages by ensuring that staff remuneration is based on factually correct information. Is there anything wrong there? Finally, to ensure prompt and direct payment of salary to employees' accounts. Nigeria is not the only country that operates central salary pay system. I hope you know that. You will have heard, even if you didn't practice, that the American government and national and their assembly, they're always fighting because their pay system is central. And they have to go to the budget at the last minute to seek an understanding before another budget is passed, before salaries are paid. So Nigeria is not the only place. So we do now say that the intent to introduce RPPI was bad. Now this is where there are many unintended consequences for which I will make you now. It is now public information that following the implementation of the RPPIs, university unions went on strike. And it has not been resolved till today. So let's go back to what RPPI is intended to do. It was supposed to provide a centralized database for manpower planning and decision-making. Now, which government do not want to know how many staff participated between January to December? If the data were left to the universities, they can't trust the data coming from the universities. So they have to centrally say this is what we are doing. Don't forget, you see, what we are doing is first we are understanding government policy, and then we are now seeing how it is implemented, and we are now seeing unintended consequences. So my discussion of this time is not really to lambast government as you expect it to do, is to explain how we come to where we are that have unintended consequences. Are you getting it? Yes. All right. So, I was talking about the usefulness, facilitate automation and storage of personal records in one database. That's what the government wants to do. Whether it is right or not, that's not our business. It's what the government wants to say. I want to see all records, everything centralized. And again, I wouldn't say that the federal government should not do that. Don't forget that what the federal government is doing is to peep into the autonomy of universities, because they are behaving like an ivory tower. They are far from the reality. So they are also to prevent wastage and leakages. Now let me give you something that may shock you. When I was in Ibadan, one of the duties that I took in as RPPIs is that if the federal government doesn't pay or delay payment, none of my staff, teaching or non-teaching, would accuse the vice chancellor or then the executive director, the DG, of taking this money. So, as a chief executive, RPPI was fantastic to me. Nobody will accuse me that I've taken the money in the deposit bank, because the money is in CBN, not a post bank. not in my friend's bank, FCB or Zenith. So in a way, for me, that was an unintended consequence of federal government policy on IPPIs. I could sleep. If the salary doesn't come till 25th, it doesn't concern me. Because the burden has moved away from me to government. The union, they are aware that the burden is no longer out of the BC. So that is an unintended consequence, albeit positive to me as a person implementing the government policy. That's an example that I have when I became chief executive. Because what we do is that because the salaries are known, already fixed in the budget, if your staff resigns or dies, you don't have access to that fund. Because the fund is not in your care, it's in the care of Central Bank of Nigeria. Is that not a good policy? It is. The government is able to control it. But unintended consequences that as vice chancellors, this is the slush funds we play around with. We're able to employ people. But we can't do that. That's unintended consequence. We can't do that now because we don't have that fund. If 10 people resign or retire from my university, it doesn't come to me. It goes back to CPF. Or unintended consequences, I'm unable to use that fund to do other things. But we believe that been right. That is part of the autonomy that the university is trying to fight to control. So I have here a list of some of the unintended consequences that attended policies with respect to IPPIs. First is that the civil service and the university have different structure. So I took the consequence there. The difficulties in accommodating the peculiarities of the university system. So the university takes those sabbatical. The federal government has not, IPPIs has not recognized it in the January budget, as if no. So I'm unable to employ sabbatical. I'm unable to employ visiting scholar. I'm unable to employ anything outside what is in the IPPIs. But the federal government would not have wished that I would have a vacancy, an intellectual vacancy, and I'm unable to fulfill it. That's our intended consequence of federal government policy. The inadequacy of ICT infrastructure in order to cope with IPPIs. When I became Vice Chancellor of Open University, it became clear to me that IPPIs is not the one preparing my salary. It's my bursary that prepares my salary. But that is not what is known outside. We think it's the IPPIs that prepares salary, but it's not. The IPPIs prepares for me my last month's supplication and sends it to me and tells me to make the necessary adjustments. So if you deserve check-up that has been done, then I'll put it there as positive and send it back to IPPIs. They'll pay it. So the challenge of delayed payment and related issues. These are unintended consequences. That is, we don't get the money as at when due. 5. The inflexibility, and this is very important, in the recruitment of staff, either regular or short-term for critical areas of need. For instance, just last week, Guardian reported on the 25th of April that over 5,000 first-class graduates are languishing in unemployment despite the dire needs of the university academic staff. In those days, they will have taken them. But no, unintended consequences. The federal government would not have wished that this is what is happening, but that's what we have. The same thing, it does not allow for timely replacement of academic staff exiting the university without recourse to the office of the head of service or minister of finance for approval. There's no provision for visiting staff on sabbatical leave, which is the hallmark of universities worldwide. It has no provision for promotion of areas of different salaries, different categories of staff in the university system. It did not allow for take-off dues for unions and cooperative societies for universities. I'm giving you this textbook unintended challenges. But we will see in later discussion that this may not be true. The release of personnel emolument on a month-by-month basis impinges on the capacity of the university to plan ahead of human resources required for quality training of students and research. The university can't really plan ahead because the salaries are boxed in. They are boxed in by CBN. We're making good progress. So I now come with the public policy and perception. When government makes policy, there are two parties to it. The first is the implementers or the implementors, and the second is the recipients. And this is another aspect of unintended consequences. Is that if these policies, for instance, were made for public good, why then is there resistance by the people that it was meant to serve? I think the issue was that while the government meant well the purpose of good governance, the recipients focus on their own peculiarities and the custom of doing things their way. The perceptions of both parties inevitably plays crucial roles in the success and effectiveness of policy implementation. The perceptions of implementors can have a significant impact on the success or failure. Similarly, the way policies are perceived by the recipients can influence their acceptance. In my earlier address, I said that whereas government is known to enact a policy and be put dragging implementation, in RPPIS, in TSA, they have no matter what ASU said, they have insisted that they are going to implement it to the fullest. So, what has changed? What I think has happened is that the perception by the people who are going to implement it is as important as the perception of the people that are receiving it. If there had been proper education between the implementers and the recipients, perhaps the long-drawn challenge between the two bodies will not have been there. So, for the implementers, the attitudes and beliefs are very important. Do they have the capacity? Do they have the organization structure? Does the ministry, does the IPPI, does the CBN, does the Office of the General Federation of the country have the organizational structure to force the implementation of these things? Perhaps the most important is communication and engagement. Effective communication and engagement is very essential, for which we may not have. And finally, leadership and motivation. These are things that affect the way a policy is forced down the throat of people who it is meant to be. Similarly, there are key points regarding public policy and those of us who are going to receive it, understanding and awareness. Our perception of public policy is influenced by our level of understanding and awareness of the objectives, rationale, and implications. So if the government enacts a policy and cannot come and say this is what is happening, then there is issue. The second is trust and credibility. Do we trust them when they make this policy? And the level of trust is very important in how you accept. The third is relevance and responsiveness. Does it address our needs? Is that what we are saying? We say we need money. We say we need salary increase. We say we need infrastructure. Is that the policy that we are making, does it address this? So these are the issues between people who are communicating or enacting or developing policies and people who are receiving it. From the foregoing, it's evident that understanding and addressing implementers' concerns are essential for overcoming implementation challenges and achieving desired policy outcome. Let me now talk you with. I have what we call post-IPPI's implementation development. At this point, one might be tempted to assume that the government has been insensitive to the concerns raised by different arms of the investor system. However, a careful examination of the developments since the implementation of the IPPI policy shows that the government has actually been sensitive and responsive. This is shocking, isn't it? But that's what I found. These are exemplified by the following policy redirections. One, the IPPI now allows for deduction of check-up dues due to unions and cooperative societies. It was not there before. Because the union, the ministries, don't practice this. ASU, the unions in the university demand this. This was not there before. But it is there now. Isn't it? Is there now? Two, payment of staff on sabbatical appointments and comments on IPPIs. It wasn't there before. IPPI is now placed. Three, issues of commission, non-payment, underpayment of some staff have not been resolved. Like I said, the people that prepare salary is not IPPI, it's us. So if there is a shortage of fund, salary that comes to me, don't look at IPPIs, look at your boss. So the government has looked at it. The initial problem relating to payment of salaries to the dead, are you getting it? The retired lecturers, as well as those already resigned from their jobs, have now been solved because the preparation has changed. It's with you, and you know that this staff has resigned. So you will indicate to IPPIs that this guy has resigned. It wasn't there before. So they have resolved it. And finally, just about a month ago, the government has directed that universities be excluded from IPPIs. So are we saying, therefore, that government has been insensitive to the concerns raised by different arms of the universities? No. Like I told you, when I started this study, I didn't hope that this was what I was going to get. But as you delve into the issue of government policies, that is when you realize that there are some unintended policies that actually you are getting. And then what are the responses by government of these unintended consequences? And to me, to my understanding, what I'm seeing here is that some of this that the government has actually been sensitive and responsive to the concerns of the university system. So therefore, because government is doing that, I have a recommendation that I want to give for addressing unintended consequences of TSA and IPPIs. I want to suggest to government that there should be regular monitoring and evaluation. I want to suggest to government that there should be stakeholder engagement. I want to suggest to government that there should be flexibility and adaptability, because one car does not fit all. I want to suggest to government that whatever decision they make should be based, should be data-driven decision. And I want to suggest to government that there should be transparency and communication in what they do, because this builds trust and facilitates discussion about unintended consequences. Can one car fit all? I asked that question earlier. It's often used to describe a situation or approach that is believed to be universally applicable or suitable for all situations or contexts. While there may be instances where a standardized or general solution can be effective, it is important to recognize that not all problems or challenges can be addressed with a one-size-fits-all. So the fact that this policy fits the ministries, the MJs, does not mean that it will fit the university. And I think that should be clear. Many problems and challenges are complex and multifaceted, with varying factors and variables influencing the outcomes. Circumstances and environments are constantly changing, requiring solutions that are flexible and adaptable to evolving conditions. A rigid, one-size-fits-all approach may lack the ability to respond to changing dynamics and emerging challenges. My conclusion: as I round up this address, I hope it is clear from your analysis above that government policies often have altruistic and projective objectives, even if they are unclear at the initial stages. I dare say that there is no government policy that will be deliberately anti-people. However, the timing and process of implementation and the attitude of implementers and recipients are often not properly aligned, leading to conflicts, unintended perceptions, and undesired outcomes. On one hand, government policymakers and implementers need to institute robust stakeholder engagement, collaboration, and advocacy. On the other hand, we in the university community and the rest of society need to approach government policies with a little less skepticism and an abundance of patience. The government, as I've just said, has started introducing mitigatory strategies for ameliorating the unplanned and unintended consequences of some of its policies on the university system. This is evidence of an adaptive governance strategy which takes to account the unintended outcomes. Which reminds me about the story of three acquaintances: the bird, the vine, and the tortoise. The vine is explained. The bird, the vine, and the tortoise were very close companions long ago in the world of animals. They lived together on the same tree. The tortoise lived at the base of the tree, whilst the vine grew around the tree, the trunk of the tree, and the bird dwelled on the branches. The bird, who thought she was quite attractive and talented, enjoyed singing loudly from the top of the tree as a form of display. She craved the attention, especially of the male birds. She desired her music to reach everyone, but which sometimes disrupted the tranquility of the forest, disturbing other creatures seeking peace. The vine, on the other hand, was selfish, careless, and lazy. Of the three pals, of the three friends, she remained still and on the same location the entire time, come rain, come sunshine. Her response to every request for assistance was that she couldn't be bothered to help. The tortoise, on the other hand, we all know her, was a timid but wise and amiable creature. That's the setting of the three friends. The bird will occasionally fly down to join her pals at the base of the tree. where they will converse and share tales. And during such occasions, the tortoise will occasionally beg the divine to advise the god to lower her voice when it's singing, so that hunters will not hear her or try to find her. However, the divine will frequently say, "I can't be bothered." So one afternoon, the god has used her sound loudly. Unconcerned, she ignored the tortoise's plea to lower her voice. The divine, of course, was usual, showed no interest, and slept heartily. A wandering hunter, upon hearing the god's distant song, steadily followed the sound until he spotted the bird perched on the tree. He promptly brought out his gun and shot the singing bird, who fell to the ground near where the old tortoise resided. And what did the tortoise do? She withdrew into her shell, hoping that the hunter would not notice her. However, as the hunter stooped to retrieve the bird, he spotted the tortoise and captured her too. Since the hunter lacked a bag large enough, he noticed the vine wrapped round the tree trunk. Using his knife, he cut the vine and used it to bind both the bird and the tortoise together. And the hunter joyfully whistled the very melody he had heard the bird singing as he journeyed back home happily. The bride cried tears of remorse. Her statement, "I can't be bothered," ultimately led to her demise. This story will be poignant to the different alumni associations in Nigeria. It is indicative that we, alumni, in this community of scholars, also have a role to play. This is where this type of forum is very important to public social discourse. Alumni live in both worlds and are not encumbered operationally in both worlds. The alumni is a bridge between the past and the present, connecting and shaping the future. For you to be an alumni, you were once inside and you knew what you went through. Now you are outside and you are not bothered about what went through. I visited a friend in Abuja who was running a school, and I went to that school unannounced. And when I entered the school, I saw the structure solid, and I was wondering, in this day and age, for primary school, secondary school, this solid structure, this is not a waste of money. And then the friend came and met me. And I commented, I said, this is fantastic structure. For a primary school, for a secondary school. And he said, shouldn't we give back what he himself received? Shouldn't he give back what he himself refused? The alumni is a bridge between the past and the present, connecting and shaping the future. It is therefore imperative for all alumni to search the system upon which they operate and identify the unintended consequences of government policies and help to shape it for future, because that was not what they received when they were there. Thank you very much for listening.
First, are you here? Ara wa ni oye, ara wa ni o. Thank you. Also, you are no more here. Members of October, you are not here. Okay? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is a well-researched, well-articulated, presented in a refreshing manner in a 36-page document within 92 minutes. For me, I'm fulfilled discipline that I attended this lecture. In the mode of a public financial policy analyst, our guest lecturer was able to do justice to the 42nd Alumni Lecture 2024 edition. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we put our hands together in a resounding manner for the 2024 Alumni Lecture of the University of Ibadan. Very distinguished Professor Olufemi Ayinde-Peter. During the presentation of that lecture, I tried to monitor our traffic on the internet, the Zoom link, and we found out that the traffic was heavy. To the extent that some of those who lead us up started calling us saying, people in there are not actually my then definitely you made this evening refreshing and rewarding. Thank you and God bless you, sir. When you look at the last 3 lines in the second stanza of UI anthem, wisdom best to service tongue, that is on page 1. Wisdom's best to service tongue. Help us find the right to learn, for a mind that knows is a mind that to lay free. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Professor Peters is one of the best UI has produced. The current DRO of Alumni University anchored the program with me not too long ago, and he told me that OAU is upper one university. And I told him, do you understand the meaning of UI motto? Recte sapere funds for knowledge and sound judgment. And I told him, repete that is sapere for one. Our distinguished lecturer, sir, please step forward. Please step forward, sir. Here. We have a gift as part of our tradition, as a token of appreciation. 1, for coming here to celebrate you. 2, for this wonderful lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now I invite the President, UIA Worldwide, to please step forward too. Our elders in the house, immediate past President, UIA Worldwide, Professor C. Olufunka, please join them. Our next President, UIA Worldwide, Dr. Kenny Anthony Abadiela, please join them. Dr. Tomari, Economy National Treasurer, UIA Worldwide, please join them. Professor Akulaga, and then Professor Yes, sir. Please join them, sir. Please step forward, step forward. Yeah. The acting vice chancellor, sir, kindly join them, sir. With due respect, sir, the acting vice chancellor and the registrar, University of Ibadan, Mr. Ganiu Sani, and the acting chairman to form our guest lecturer. The acting chairman, please step forward, please, sir. Where is our warden? Melandio.
In appreciation of that sacrifice you made in coming to Ibadan, we appreciate you, we celebrate you, we are proud of you, and wish you. Thank you for coming. God bless you.
The most distinguished alumnus of the year, here presented to you our guest lecturer, who is our proud alumnus, very excellent. Alumnus.
Most Distinguished Alumnus Award 2024. And then the certificate, University of Ibadan Alumni Association.
We need this start on. We want to go with this. We are proud of you. Can we continue to put our hands together for my disability extension? You will start on this, sir. And you will be close, sir. In the UAE.
Who is Rashid, please?
Rashid. Professor Rashid Bakari. Oh, yeah.
Presented
Oh, yeah.
the mark of honor and appreciation. But I hope you know how to read it from.
Welcome to the UI. Thank you. Members of Atsuba, please come and take. Okay, yeah, sorry.
You can see that some of us are wearing this.
Thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the National Open University, let me recognize the distinguished presence of the Director of Audit, Mr. Michael Fatu FCA. You are most welcome, sir. And from the same university, Dr. Oyekunle Adeboyega, Director Abeokuta Study Center. You are most welcome, sir. And Director of Lagos Study Center, Dr. Nero Adejobi. You are welcome, sir. And Deputy Registrar Lagos Study Center, Mrs. Maria Undog. My name is Olatunji Olayeto, Director of the Directorate of Public Communication, the first person to be so appointed in Ibadan University, now Director of Ibadan University Press. Thank you so much. Let me also recognize the distinguished presence of one of our leading legends, a member of UN class of 67. Mama is almost 80 now. Mama Titi Bambori. You are most welcome, ma'am. Now I invite our emeritus President, UIAA and Alumni Association, Dr. Kenny Emina, for the final closing remarks. Dr. Emina, 5 minutes, sir.
That's right. I will give you 5 minutes to give a vote of thanks. Actually, this lecture development trust. The aim of the development trust is to assist the university. So I want to tell our guest lecturer, our alumni lecturer, that the University of Ibadan Alumni Association is conscious of the fact that their primary responsibility is to assist the University of Ibadan. And that is why, out of the blues, they were able to build a project costing over 300 million and donating same to the University of Ibadan. So we are very, very conscious of that duty. We have not been doing much of it, but we will continue having listened to your charge today. We must thank members of the primary school attended by our alumni lecturer. We really must thank them for finding time to come here and sing that beautiful song that the Lord sang. Thank you so much. Secondary school. Okay, secondary school. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you also to members of staff, the principal officers especially, of the National Open University of Nigeria. You are doing so well. I had earlier commended you because only the deep can come up to the deep. When you have a man who pursues excellence, your institution will be excellent. And because your institution is excellent, you too, you are excellent. We thank you for finding time to come with me. It shows the solidarity at work in that university. Almost 3 deputy vice chancellors are here. The librarian is here. The bursar is here. We thank you so much. So many other officers I cannot talk about that are here. But I'm also aware, because I listened to somebody talking, the person slipped out, he went around UI, and said he's going to copy some of the things they've seen here and take it to National Open University. You are welcome. many more. I went to the Liberia. They saw me go to the Liberia. She told me that she's coming here to do a diploma course because she wants to be seen as a UI. I will want to say thank you to the National Executive Council of UIAA, but particularly thank you to the Executive Committee of UIAA who has made this possible. The President would have said he wanted a lecture to be delivered by Professor Peters, but if the Executive Council or the Executive Committee did not say yes to him and encourage him, he would have failed. Monkeys man, and because three near each other. Thank you to members of this Executive Committee and members of the Executive Council of UIAA. Thank you also to one of the greatest leaders I've seen, one of the greatest school administrators I've seen, Dr. Wale, who is here every represented by the registrar. About a week ago, I spoke with him and we talked about this lecture. And they expressed deep regret not being able to be here. According to him, I'm going to Abuja to pursue money. The Vice Chancellors virtually live in Abuja, except for the computers who live in Abuja. So he's not looking for money, is shorter. So please, on behalf of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association, give him our regards, give him our gratitude, give him our thanks. We appreciate his effort. We appreciate the tight corners he's in, and do assure him that the University of Ibadan Alumni Association will continue to partner with him. Where I come from, you give the best, the last for one of the greatest masquerades, which is Mr. Akifemiwa. Up to yesterday, when he spoke with us, he was very sure he was coming. This afternoon, when the president called me to say he got a call that he was no longer coming, I was shocked. And shortly after that, my younger brother called me also to say I'm here to represent him. The doing this, Akifemiwa, we missed him greatly. But the person sent to represent him, he did a good job. He was always perfect. But I thought he was going to give me a check. You have the check with you. you have the check with you. I'm coming over to give the check. I thank the Vice Chancellor, National Open University, for rallying around some of his friends to help us in our scholarship scheme. If you do know, the Alumni Association every year gives scholarship to about 23 to 25 students whom we catch young, year one. We catch the best students in year one and we try to nurture them by giving them our token. The Vice Chancellor, rallying around some of his friends, has been able to give us a token to partner with us in achieving that goal. But we still ask for more. We still ask for more because our scholarship scheme is continuous. So while we are going to have sponsors for this year, we still want to ask for sponsors for next year. So we will, after now, be reaching out to the Vice Chancellor and his friends for their little. I thank the students of Melanie Hall on behalf of my presidents. I thank all other guests here. I say God is your reward. God will continue to reward you. Thank you and thank you very much.
We have another greet for the chairman of this occasion, Mr. Akifemiwa, being represented by Mr. The President General. Please step forward. President General, let me also invite our brother and friend, the largest here, Barrister A.D. Mustafa SAN, to please join the team to present the gift to our EU chairman. We sincerely appreciate you, sir. For your attention, for your support for our guest lecturer today. For himself or throughout that lecture and beyond, the Daniel said did not know an inch. Can we put our hands together for the Daniel State? The global person educated here, and learned, all others are educated. Abi? My educated thing, am I speaking your language?
In appreciation of Mr. Aki Akintenwa as the chairman of UIA 2024 Alumni Lecture, and for being a proud and outstanding ambassador of a great and worthy institution, University of Ibadan.
Thank you so much.
This is for me. We are not putting it on. Are you a UIA?
No, I sympathize with the acting chairman. You didn't attend you, I sympathize with them. Thank you so much. Our guests from the National University, please step forward and take group photographs with our guest lecturer. The acting vice chancellor, please step forward. All the guests, yes, and you are doing that. You have done your own. All our guests from the National University, group photograph with our distinguished guest lecturer. And immediately after the photograph session, we take Dr. Raya, you are most welcome.
You can tell you the take it step by step.
University, Dr. Banjo, you are most welcome, sir. Also recognize another distinguished Nigerian, the man who has made a dedicated effort to code Yoruba language.